What's up, guys? John from District 1. Today we're going to be doing a real versus fake, just to, help you guys out when you're doing your buys out there, your bulk buys or whatever the case may be. We have 3 shoes today. So we're going to do a reverse Mocha first of all. So I have a real one here. Your standard front top mount with the nice little mocha color. Now I'm going to sadly show you a fake pair. Quick 360 just for the box only. Front, top. Now, some of y'all may look at this and be like, it looks perfectly fine to me, John, this and this and that. But let me show you them like side to side, just off the boxes itself. When you're going to look at a reverse Mocha, you're actually gonna lift up these boxes. This side, if you notice, off the rip, this side has a darker shade compared to this side. Again, real side, fake side. So when going to the front of the boxes now for the actual label, when some factories are doing now is they're actually putting the RFID code behind it. It's kind of hard when you're telling from RFID, especially because you only really see it. The metric and how they actually line up is completely different. When you're looking at the Nike check in the front, how this one is actually bigger compared to this one and where it's placed. Give you a second to look at that. Starting to get actually into the shoe, if you want to further investigate. Simple thing is, when you pop these open, off the rip, you're gonna notice the different colors on both the papers. How this one has like a hot paint compared to a bubble gum. Also, when you're looking at all the logos that are on the paper, it's, again, unless you're really looking at it, it's not too crazy where this is a thin line kind of thing compared to this being thick for the actual logos itself. Well, having both the shoes side by side, if you really don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get caught, and it's a sad part of the game. They practically look fucking identical. Getting into the small details, especially on the tongue area, you see how this one is a flat white compared to this one being a more of like a sail kind of white. It's not too harsh. Noticing the little differences where the Nike Air is placed. So that's just the front of the tongue. Now going on the back side of it, where the wording is placed in the trademark and wherever they put all their stuff is, how one is basically like phased out compared to the other one being crystal clear. Again, fake side, real side. Onto the back side where you're looking at your Air Jordan logo. How, again, one looks more clear than the other. Well, one looks clearer than the other, where the actual stitching is placed, how it's placed, also the red stitching that they use onto it. Real, fake. Going on to your actual side check marks now. When you're actually looking at this has a yellow tone to it compared to your actual real pair that has a sail tone. Onto the toe box itself now, this one you really have to be careful of. So when you look at the toe box, this is the fake side. When you're actually looking at the circles, if it's oval shape on any of the circles that are made onto it, it's most likely no good. It's just factories messing up. Compared to this side, where everything is circled out perfectly, all the little holes, it doesn't look like it's pushed out or smudged everywhere. I think we all know about our 1/4 inches, and this is basically how it looks. This is your fake side compared to your real side, the 1/4 inch or the 5 inch, whatever you want to call it. Basically the separation from here and the actual glue lines. Well, one of your few last steps when legit checking them. Very faint, but look at the actual Nike Air on the soles. One smaller compared to the other, one slightly shifted compared to the other. These are the small things you have to watch out for. Going to the shoe, your Jordan 1s, they all come with like purple marks, etc., etc. Well, certain factories can't get that right. So what they decided to do is create these kind of marks where it's not purple, it's a mark, but it's very faded. And it's not supposed to look like that. So onto another highly fake shoe that comes in all the time. One of 2 is the Union Jordan 1 Blue Storms. Off the rip, this is a horrible fake. Just show you straight off the box colors. If you ever have this one come into your store or you're gonna buy one, please don't let it be faded out like this or this highly just green tone that it has. This is how it should look. Please don't ever get caught with it. No matter if it's sun faded or whatever excuse it is, it should never look like this. Take a second look at that. Getting into your labels, worst thing ever. Short tagged unions, never good. Don't care what they say. Short tagged unions, never good for the labels itself. Long should be fully extended to the edge of the box. Comparing these labels together, we're always gonna be looking at the font. Just noticing on this side especially, as it's slightly thicker, especially from throughout the whole SKU in itself. We're gonna be looking at the sizes as well, basically the size, shape, and how big, again, the font. That's basically the main thing, especially when you're looking at these labels. Getting into the shoes, one of the main things you should be focused on, we all know how Jordan 1s look. We all know how they should look. We're gonna be talking about the cuff, or the cuff length, if you will. How shortened this one is, which is the fake pair, compared to now your standard Jordan 1, how much taller this actually is. Another thing, especially talking about the back, this curvature that it has here, no bueno. Compared to your real side, which has the elongated, slight curvature on the bottom, which is perfectly fine. So when you're looking at these shoes and you're authenticating, your biggest thing is to look for stitchings. How this one is a faded yellow or a dimmed yellow, dull, whichever you want to use, compared to this highlight kind of yellow stitching that they use around this whole cuff here. When you're looking on the actual check, you see this yellow, never supposed to be here, never supposed to be looking like that. Compared to this actual side, how it's just Nice, it blends into the shoe. It's not bold. Getting into your midsole colors. Now this is meant to look not distressed, but look a little aged, but it's never supposed to look this aged. This has like this milky tone to it. This is lighter, this is darker. Brand new, bro. Should never look like that. Getting into your tongues now for this. Notice how this is a red colorway. It is nice, it looks rustic compared to this bold red that this one has. Your material base, again, we were talking about how thin the actual tongue is. There's no spacing, there's nothing on it. Going to this side, this shit thick like me. Rotate to the back of the tongue, this bold red that we were talking about. It's not what you want to see. Back to this side, this rustic, nicely placed red. It's all about the details. It doesn't matter if you're strong, it does not matter if you're weak. This is a Jordan 1. Nice, firm, good shoe. This is the Jordan 1 on crack. I should never be able to do that, ever. I don't care how worn your shoe is, bro. Got a special guest for the next one.
Hey guys, it's Ayana. Today we're gonna be spotting the differences on a real and a fake Black Cat 4. Now these are very heavily faked in the market, so it's important y'all tune in and check these shits out. It's actually crazy and you would really have to like zoom in, but the period on the label for the 7.5 is a little too close to the 5. There's supposed to be a little proportion, there's nothing. And if you can either feel it or like check the reflection in the light. You should be able to see the RFID. The 7.5 doesn't have one. It's a little glossier as to where the 10 has the RFID under the label and is a little more matte. You can even see the fake boxes usually are a little more ridgier, more like cardboard. Yeah. Then we open this bad boy up. And the fake one usually has a little green sticker, but the green is a little off. Then you pull it out and you have this glossy ass midsole. Your midsole should not be shining like this. You got a nice little black midsole. If you look at them side by side, that shit actually looks kind of crazy. As you can see, our Black Cat has already been sitting in the box for a little while, so there is a little shimmer starting to come through on the suede, which is a good sign. If your shoes have been sitting in the box and some glitter appears, you're good. If you look at the netting on the tongues, it's pretty similar, but as you go up, the shape of the tongue itself is very different. The 10 is a little more precise. It's kind of like an upside down trapezoid, as to where the 7.5 is just like a square. The way it like folds up when it's in between the shoe, no good. The stitching around the Jumpman is one of the ways I easily tell it, especially if they're used. How far away and how close it is from the Jumpman, his fingers, his feet, is a very important difference. They don't have anything. That's how you know the fakes are good nowadays. They usually don't really have close stitching on them. You kind of just gotta spot out the differences. The foam on Black Cat 4s is supposed to be like a darker blue, more of like a marina. And you can also barely see the glue stains on the actual midsole. So this one on the left hand is the real one. This one's like a little more pigmented. You can see there's a difference in color. It's not the same shade of blue and it should not be this dark blue. And you can also see the glue stains on the left side. Another big tell is the printing on the size tags. They're usually very slanted. The material's a little glossier and just placed completely different. It just be looking crazy. It's very inconsistent when it comes to the size tags. Some letters, words are skinnier than others. Some are bold. And then the inner stitching, this is on most Jordan 4s actually. The Air Jordan shouldn't have as much space around the border of it as it does here. This one is a little more spread out, closer to the borders. You can also see how messy the stitching is around the Air Jordan here. Come get your Black Cats checked at D1, so you know. You're not walking around with a fugazi pair. These just too expensive for you to wear in them. That's it, guys. This was the first episode of the Just Check with D1. Check in weekly for new episodes. Comment any sneakers you guys want us to check below. And feel free to always come by and check your shoes with D1.